As the old adage goes, if you can't find anything nice to say about somebody, say nothing at all. Silence is golden. In other words, shut the bleep up. Well, in the case of the guy in this particular movie, silence is definitely golden. Or is it? Hello guys, welcome to another video. Hope you're all keeping well. Now for this one, I'd like to review a movie that I watched just last night. It's on the Indicator label. It's a special edition, this one. It was made in 1978 and it stars Robert Helpman and Susan Penhaligon, and it was directed by Richard Franklin, and that is a movie called Patrick. Now, with this being an Indicator label, there's no blurb directly on the back of this edition. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to talk to you about the movie and just give you my thoughts on the storyline as a whole, just in case you're not familiar with it. Okay, so Patrick, as I say, it's a 1978. It's an Australian kind of psychological horror movie, if you will, and the director who responsible for this movie, very much influenced by Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Yeah. Okay, so Patrick concerns this guy here. He spends virtually just for a couple of 5 minutes at the beginning where we meet him. Most of all the rest of the movie, he's like in this strange catatonic state in hospital. He's just lying there, his eyes wide open, staring into space, no other movements whatsoever, and he's put under the supervision of a new nurse to this sort of rather creepy hospital. He's put under supervision of a nurse played by Susan Penhaligon. Yeah, so she's put on, he's put into her care basically. Now, what it is with Patrick, it doesn't really go into detail about the trauma that's made him like this. It just it sort of like opens up there, where he's sort of like he sees his like mother canoodling in the bathtub, both stark naked away misses. And what he does, he becomes so enraged, he throws this electric heater into the bath and that, killing both of them and that. So then it moves forward. Then we see him in a hospital, like, as I say, in this strange catatonic state and that, he's basically just like a living vegetable, really, but there's one dark secret about this guy. He can affect things just by thinking about him. In other words, he's got this like strange power with his mind. It's a kind of like I would describe as a kind of a bedridden caddy, that sort of movie, like, with the sort of like mind powers and that, sort of like affecting things and that, just basically just lying in his bed and that, very, very lethal mind power he's got. Yeah. Okay. So so as I say, he's put under the care of this new nurse at the hospital, played by Susan Penhaligon, and strange events start to unfold and that, he starts moving the typewriter as if he's like sitting there typing with his mind and that, he starts typing messages to the nurse and that, and I won't go into too much detail about it, guys, but he's basically just sort of like his mind's basically stretching out from where he is in the hospital bed, and he's got this strange power to manipulate things, manipulate objects, even causing death a couple of times and harm, So very, very enjoyable movie. Yeah, the characters were great, and that Susan Penhaligon was fantastic as the nurse, and that in this movie. I've got a booklet here, guys. I'll just show you some pictures from it. So there's Patrick, the titular character. Very, very sinister, staring eyes and that, just lying there on a hospital bed. I've only seen this movie once before. I didn't remember too much about it. So when I saw the Indicator special edition, I thought, I've got to get that. Now, that doctor there, he's a kind of like Frankenstein, he's a dodgy doctor. He's experimenting on Patrick and that. I won't go into too much details about it and that, but there's one very rather sickly scene involving a frog. Say no more about that, So, and then you've got like, there's Susan Penhaligon's love interest, her husband. Great little booklet, this, guys. It tells you all about the movie. I enjoyed it so much. I've ordered the sequel, Patrick Lives Again, and also the remake, Patrick, starring Charles Dance from 2013. So looking forward to watching them. Yeah, there's Susan Penhaligon, who you'll remember from Bouquet of Barbed Wire. She plays the nurse and that. And again, the dodgy doctor. He's a right swine, movie, really, yeah. Oh, he's as bad as Dr. Frankenstein. He really is, yeah. Yeah, there's Patrick again. And the nurse's husband on the phone. Real weird character he is, yeah. Yeah, the director, he equated him to kind of Norman Bates, sort of like not actually using a slasher, getting dressed up as his mother, but like is sort of like his weapon was his mind, obviously, you know. So, but yeah, it's a fantastic movie, this, guys. I highly recommend you check it out. Plenty and plenty of information in here. There's the director there, guys. Made the movie. Really enjoyable movie, yeah. So absolutely made up with this, guys. Yeah, if you like your Australian psychological horror films, I think you will enjoy Patrick. There's that she interviews Susan Penhaligon for the job, and she's very, very stiff, you know, very, very imperious and that, you know, not a very nice character at all, you know. And but yeah, great storyline, and the atmosphere, the whole atmosphere is one of impending doom and impending menace, you know. But it's a real good. It's not, if you don't go into this, guys, expecting a lot of blood and gore, because you won't get it. It's more of a psychological thriller movie, you know. But as I say, it's very, very much like Carrie, all that business with the mind and that, you know. I enjoyed it, really did. So I'll be keeping this in my collection. I really will. Yeah, guys, photos of the making of the movie. Yeah. So I'm very glad I bought it. Actually, I really am, because there's that horrible nurse again that interviewed Susan Penhaligon for the job, which a right bitch she is. Very, very starchy and very, very, you know, looks down her nose at people and that, you know. But very, very good movie. And I've got something else to show you there, guys. Just hang on a second. There's the inside of it, guys. And there's the back again, all the special features if you want to freeze your cameras and take all those in, guys. All the indicators are fantastic with doing these releases and that, you know, special features. There's the picture disc, the Blu-ray. But yeah, I enjoyed it immensely, guys, and I'll no doubt I'll be revisiting it again very, very soon with the commentary. I've watched a couple of the extra features and that, interviews with the cast and that, you know, and the director Richard Franklin, and yeah, really enjoyed that. But yeah, as I say, if you like your Australian psychological thriller or horror movies, I think you will derive a lot of enjoyment from Patrick. Yeah, very, very creepy movie. Yeah, and that scene with the frog, oh my days, a word of warning, don't watch that when you're eating your tea. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, but yeah, as I say, it was great to revisit this movie, and as I say, I enjoyed it that much. I've ordered the sequels, which I think is an Italian. The sequel is yeah, Patrick Lives Again and Patrick. Yeah, so I'll have the 3 Patrick movies. Yeah, but I think it's going to take some beating, this, guys, for sheer menace and that, you know. Oh, great. He's fantastic, him. As he's just lying there in the bed and that, he looks as if he's harmless, but his mind is like, it's a real warhorse's mind and that, you know, anything he doesn't like, any people, anybody he thinks standing in the way, if he fancies a particular nurse or a girl, he doesn't pull any punches, guys, and shall we say, attending to the lover or the husband and that, you know, but I'll just leave it there. Yeah, but very, very original movie and that, and something different in that, and it was really refreshing to watch you know, a movie that concentrated more on storyline and these cheap, ridiculous special effects that we get so much of these days and that, you know. Yeah, I absolutely love Patrick, yeah, from 1978, and I'd highly recommend it to anybody who like these sorts of movies. Now, the colour's nice in this as well, yeah, and I like the musical score as well, and I like the cinematography in that, you know, the hospital's quite creepy in that, you know, and Susan Penhaligon, she played a great female protagonist in that. I understand from the interviews, the director originally had Jenny Agutter in mind, but she couldn't play the nurse, so she recommended Susan Penhaligon to the director, and well, of course, like the rest is history and that, you know. So yeah, really made up with this lovely box set from Indicator, a nice solid box and that, you know. And all right then, guys, I'm going to give Patrick a rating now, no hesitation whatsoever. I will go to give Patrick a full 10 out of 10, because that's how much pleasure and enjoyment I had from this movie. I had a real blast with this movie, and as I say, good rewatchability factor and a good story, a good original story, and this, oh yeah, very, very unusual monster this Patrick and that, he's just, he's real creepy, like his eyes are just staring and that, real bulging eyes he's got. I understand they had to put something in his eyes to make his eyes, stay open and that, but they did a great job, guys, they really did, and that, I would call Patrick the quiet monster, because he's just sitting there. He's basically like dead to the world, really, and that, And when the nurse basically asked the doctor about him and that, is anything going to get better? The doctor's very dismissive and that, and he's kind of like, he's got this obsession with like, when the body dies and that, and the soul, at which point does the soul leave the body and go on to an afterlife or whatever we go to when we die? The doctor seems to be very, very obsessed with that. He's very, very coldly clinical about that and that, so Susan Penhaligon, she's a bit weary about pursuing it anymore and that. But I must say, a character is very, very courageous, because once you start seeing Patrick is lacing power, this inherent power he's got to move things with his mind and that, anybody else would say, oh, bugger this, I'm off out of here. They'd have handed the notice in right away and got out of that room and that, the hospital room. But, oh yeah, I love the part, as I say, where he's manipulating the typewriter when Susan Penhaligon is typing and that, and that reflects badly on her and her job and that, because when she's summoned into the office by the nurse and that, the head nurse, I won't go into detail, but that reflects very badly on Susan Penhaligon. Well, all the time it was Patrick that was making all the typos and that, the typing mistakes, as it were, but at the same time, he was relaying very, very forceful, very, very vehement messages purely by the power of his mind, yeah. All right then, guys, I'm going to leave it there now. I've said enough about this movie. I don't want to say more about it. Have you seen Patrick? What did you think of it? Did you share my opinion that it was a very, very good Australian thriller, horror movie? Yeah, let me know in the comments down below. And yes, as I say, Richard Franklin, a great admirer of Psycho, and I believe this was actually based on a true story about this guy or something. His wife was having an affair, and what he done something very, very stupid, to prove his love for her and that, and sort of like get her going. He tried to kill himself by jumping off this, I think it was a building and that, but he miscalculated the impact and he ended up paralyzed in bed. So that was like where the director, from what I can gather, got his germ of an idea to do Patrick, and a very, very good job he did as well, yeah. Alright then, guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed my review of Patrick from 1978. All going well. I shall be back again very, very soon with another video. That's all for now. Bye.